A delivery on the 0-1's in the dirt. Count even at 1.
JJ getting his first start, but not his first appearance. He did appear in a relief action earlier in the season.
Yep, went 5 innings in that relief appearance. The 1-1 fouled back home plate side. Count 1-2. Braves, meanwhile, searching for their first victory on the campaign. Hoping to get some early run support on the way for Charlie Cotter, who's on the mound tonight. The 1-2 was fouled off first base side of the play. Count remains 1-2.
Interesting to see, how things progress as the years go on. JJ and his catcher using a football-style wristband to get the signals in.
Pitch count is yet to alleviate the high school ranks as there is a grounder into the shortstop hole that is fumbled by a Raider. Be a single on an error reach there for Brebeuf.
It's one of those fundamental plays that when you've got kind of one of those slow rollers, you don't want to sit and wait on it. The more hops that thing takes, the more it can do something crazy, the more it can eat you up. So just to get in a couple extra steps as he's coming in would have really helped him there.
It'll be Andrew O'Brien, the third baseman, up next for the Braves. O'Brien, 2 for 11 on the season, 2 RBIs to his name.
It's a quick change out there. First, they got a pinch runner already, number 10, Owen Moracle, in to run.
So Moracle with a short lead off first. Pendergrass looks into Henry for the sign. Takes a quick glance over at the runner. And the pitch of the at-bat is in the dirt, but blocked well by Henry. Runner goes back to first.
Kind of interesting that you'd have a pinch runner for your leadoff batter. That's usually one of your quicker players, and that's the guy you really want to get on base early.
Perhaps you're just looking for buttons to push. Like we mentioned, 0-4 hole to start for the Braves. But you're right, it is an unorthodox look to open a ball game. 1-0 from Pendergrass in the dirt, 2-0. After that strike to open the at-bat with Coorley. 2 of the last 3 pitches, 1 for contact that reached on an error. Other 2 were balls as Pendergrass tries to get a handle on the strike zone. Behind 2-0 here, top of the first from LaPinta Field. Quick glance over at the runner. He'll throw over. Back successfully was Moracle. The junior, no lead yet. Now he'll show a short lead off of first. Of course, head coach Pat Antone, first season at the helm for Roncalli. The delivery upstairs, 3-0. Looking to establish and reestablish, I should say, an accomplished program here at Roncalli.
That was one of those pitches that if it were about 15 degrees colder, he might have gotten that call.
The 3-0 is just outside. He walked him. Runners on first and second to start this outing for Roncalli. And the Braves, opportunities that haven't always been present for them this season. An ability to get some early run support. It'll be Will Loftus, designated hitter, up to the plate for the Braves. Loftus 6 hits in 14 at-bats so far this year.
And this is their guy. This is the guy that makes it all go. In a little bit, we'll get to the keys to the game, and limiting his ability to create runs is going to be big tonight.
2 RBIs to the young season for Loftus. Pitches a strike, count 0-1. Short lead off both first and second, with O'Brien aboard on second. That's a pop into shallow center field. Coming on to make the play is Baker. He'll throw in, runners stay put. And a good first out here in the top of the first to regain the confidence of Prendergast.
Especially with that guy, because he's the guy that really has been in charge of making their offense go. Good job by Charlie out there. I can tell you from experience that that sun this time of day out there in right field can be pretty brutal.
Delivery at this at-bat is a strike down the middle for Pendergrass. Holtzapfel at the plate, the first baseman. 3 hits and 12 at-bats so far on the year, no RBIs. Short lead off first and second for the runners, and a step off briefly for Prendergast. as he had an opportunity potentially for a pickoff move if he so choose. Rader was there covering in the shortstop hole. The 0-1 is fouled back third base side of the play. Count 0-2. We talk about getting an opportunity to set a tone. Roncalli already doing that so far after this 3-0 start. And you talk about the importance of taking care of business in conference. Prime opportunity for them to do so tonight. Quick glance at the runners. The 0-2 is swung on and hit in the air into shallow center field. Diving to make the effort is Rader. He could not. It falls to the deck, and the bases are loaded with a 1 out here in the top of the first. Rader had a tough play to run all the way from the shortstop hole. That was a little bit of a bloop single that just dropped in the play. There was no play out in left field for Shutley to make it. It wasn't hit far enough for him. Heck of an effort there by Rader, but just couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, his first step or two was back by Shutley, so maybe if he comes right away, he's got a chance. But it was going to be tough either way.
And now is Jackson Reinbold. Fresh delivery here is swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Reinbold, the junior, 1 hit and 11 at bats on the season, 1 RBI to his name though on that 1 hit. 1 out here, runners on first and second. The 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. Ahead is Prendergast. Everybody with a nice short lead trying to go on contact here and get the Braves some really run support. Royals looking to shut it down despite the early chaos. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice delivery by Prendergast. And a huge out for him, as he's just 1 out away from getting out of this early jam.
With the bat, second baseman, number 2, Josh Bingman.
They had the corners pulled in early. It looked like they were going to go home with it, but now that the strikeout, you can play back to normal depth and just get the out.
Swing and a miss on the initial delivery. Josh Bingman at the plate, the sophomore catcher. 1 hit in 11 appearances so far this year. Bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the first. Prendergast, the delivery, swung on and missed. And a chance for the put-away pitch upcoming, ahead 0-2. What a momentum shift this would be for the Royals.
Absolutely. If you can come out of this with no runs and come in and get something started, major momentum swinging.
Bases loaded, top of the first. Prendergast looks into the sign from Henry. The windup, the delivery, and it's inside. 1-2. Thought you might get a punch-out opportunity there. Umpire says no. We'll play again.
I renew my assertion that if it were 15 degrees cooler.
With you. Not on a nice spring day like this, though. Bases loaded. The 1-2 from Prendergast. Swung on in the dirt. Got to make the throw. No, they're going to say able to gather it was Henry. So a strikeout, punch-out for Prendergast to end the inning. 1 hit, 1 error, and 3 left for the Braves. No score after a half. Royals up to bat after this on the Roncalli Media Network.
Hi folks, it's Ben Stallings with Beck Service Center. Automotive breakdowns and routine maintenance never come at a good time. Let us help take the stress out of your automotive repairs. With 10 mechanics and 32 bays, we can get you back up and running with minimal downtime. Quality parts, experienced mechanics, locally owned and operated since 1977. Located at the southeast corner of Madison and Edgewood, we are pretty darn good at fixing cars. Let's go Royals.
Meet Zach. Zach rides everywhere, day and night, rain or shine. At Indiana Members Credit Union, we know Zach. We know he's been saving up for a car. We're here to help Zach and you. Now get pre-approved for auto financing as low as 3.99% APR. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Rates subject to credit approval and valid on purchase of 2020 or newer vehicles. Learn more at imcu.com.
Welcome back to La Pinta Field on the campus of Roncalli High School. 1 half in the books. Royals get out of trouble with the bases loaded. A couple strikeouts in play for J.J. Prendergast. And now Roncalli have their opportunity to start things off in their batting order. Leading things off is Rudy Shutley, the left fielder. He's batting first. Luke Green, the first baseman, batting second. Sam Rader, the shortstop, batting third. Hayden Scott in there as well, batting fourth. Andrew Baugh, the designated hitter for J.J. Pendergrass, batting 5th. Dylan Henry batting 6th. The catcher, Drew Nelson, the third baseman, batting 7th. Maddox Hayworth, the second baseman, batting 8th. And the right fielder, Charlie Baker, he is batting 9th. Alongside the coach, Chris Strykowski, I'm Jimmy Cook. Royals looking to get on the board early as Shutley, 2 walks on the season, 0 for 4 on the year, but has drawn 2 walks in 7 plate appearances. Awaits for the opening delivery from Cotter. Windup and the pitch is upstairs, 1-0.
Rudy got a little bit of an old school look to him, and just a little bit of the stirrup showing. He's got the batting gloves hanging out of his back pockets.
Cotter, 2 appearances, a 2.3 ERA. His second pitch is wide of the mark, behind 2-0 on the count. Shutley steps in and is ready. The 2-0 is strike called. Looked like it was low from our angle, but 2-1 is the count.
Shake some cobwebs out of my eyes here.
That one was a good pitch framing there on the part of Cowerly. The 2-1 is outside, 3-1.
And then that one looked pretty good. So
yeah, I would have flip flopped those.
We're
Yeah,
even.
It works out. It balances out at the end of the day for the Royals. Cotter looks in from Cowerly. The 3-1 is down the middle for a strike. Shutley taking all the way, and we're full.
Having done a little umpiring myself, I can honestly say it. You know what? Early in the season for the umpires too.
Yep. We look at, and I'll hold that thought for a second, as Cotter looks in for the 3-2. And now it's okay, we'll get a time. So we'll build off that for a second. Of all of the officials where I'm going to give the most grace, particularly early season across the sports, it's softball and baseball umpires.
Yeah, calling balls and strikes is definitely something that you got to kind of work yourself up to being proficient at.
The 3-2 swung on and hit in the air into left field. Underneath it is Sobek to make the play, and there's one away. Luke Green, the first baseman, steps into the batter's box. Green 4 for 4 on the season. 4 singles and 3 RBIs to his name.
Kind of interesting. The Braves have been a solid program for quite a while. The young man on the mound tonight, he's a freshman and is currently their best pitcher.
First pitch of the at-bat is a strike. You always see, and you know it especially in the football ranks as well, but it's unique to see those type of changes of the guard or changes of where you're going for your top players as the 0-1 is in the dirt, make it 1-1. But particularly in a sport like baseball, whenever you see your ace or your top guy being an underclassman, being a freshman no less, it tells you where the program is, but also tells you the potential of the young man on the mound.
Sure.
The 1-1 is down the middle for a strike, 1-2.
And that should be a good sign for them for quite a while, but there's going to be some growing pains, in between, which kind of helps explain the 0-4 start.
Cotter looks in for the sign, delivers the 1-2 in the dirt, 2-2. Baseball, unlike any other sport at the high school level, we talk about everybody gets a ticket to the big dance, and that's always going to be present there. But at the same time, it's also the sport where you can get a feel for, okay, how many years away are they from being where they really want to be?
Right, and especially when you look at
pitch upstairs, 3-2.
When you look at the Circle City Conference and how they do the scheduling, they play back-to-back games.
Right.
So you see it pretty quickly.
3-2, strike 3 called. Down looking is Green. First strikeout of the ball game for Cotter, and 2 down.
So you get a chance to see, your primary, conference opponents. You get to see what kind of depth they've got really quickly. It's really hard to kind of stack. Hey, we're gonna, throw our best at you, today, and then we're gonna throw our best at you again in game 2 because they're gonna be right back to back.
The shortstop Sam Rader at the plate pitches away. It's a ball outside, 1-0. Rader 1 for 5 on the season, drawn 3 walks, however. Awaits the 1-0 from Cotter. Bottom of the first, we're still scoreless here from LaPinta Field. Wind up and the delivery is just outside, 2-0. You mentioned that it is a unique aspect of the schedule. Roncalli will turn around here in just a couple days and head north, make the inverse trip as that pitch is in there for a strike 2-1 that Brebeuf had to make today. And it really, I think, heightens the sense of, I don't want to say animosity, but it heightens the importance and the rivalry of these conference games, having what it turns out to be a home and home separated by about 2 days.
Yeah.
The 2-1. Swung on and chopped in the air to center field. Back underneath it is Wells to make the play to end the inning. No runs, no hits, and no man left for Roncalli. At the end of 1 inning of play, we're scoreless. Braves up to bat after this on the Roncalli Media Network.
Sports fans, it's Mark Maloney with JC Bank. Whether tailgating or listening to the game at home, JC Bank invites you to BYOB. Be your own branch. Got a laptop with Wi-Fi or a smartphone? Well, BYOB 24/7 with JC Bank's online and mobile banking options. Hey, you can even apply for a mortgage online with JC Bank. And remember, we're happy to serve you at one of our local JC Bank offices too. And we'll be opening soon in Greenwood. Get in the game at jcbank.com/BYOB. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Marian University wants to know, what are you made of? At Marian University, our students are made of character and faith. Our students are service-minded and want to make a difference in the world. Our students possess the skills and intellect required of leaders. Come to Marian University, Indy's premier Catholic university, and let us help you find out what you're made of. You can apply for free today at marian.edu.
Top of the second here at La Pinta Field. Braves nothing, Royals nothing on the Roncalli Media Network. We ran through it for the Royals side of things. Let's run through it for the Braves. We've already seen 6 plate appearances for the Braves. Leading them off, Alex Curley, the catcher, is batting first. Andrew O'Brien, the third baseman, batting second. Will Loftus, the DH, batting third. Aiden Holtzapfel, the first baseman, batting fourth. Jackson Reinbold, the right fielder, batting fifth. Josh Bingham batting 6th. Dylan Wells, the catcher, batting 7th. Ethan Morris, the shortstop, batting 8th. Nick Sobek, the left fielder, he is batting 9th. We resume, though, with Dylan Wells, the catcher. 2 strikeouts to end the inning for J.J. Pendergrast in the top of the first. And he opens up the inning with the pitch that is swung on and popped fair initially, and then it will bounce right to first. What do they call that? They call that.
That
it bounced. It was a fair ball past the bag.
It was just a pop-up that the first baseman couldn't see. It landed in fair territory.
He picked it up.
It was beyond the base. Yep. He picked it up through the first. It should be an out.
That's what I thought as well.
It sure looked like the base umpire was calling it a foul ball.
That's what I thought he had indicated also. But yeah, like you mentioned, popped up past the bag, landed in fair territory, was scooped up before it had gone foul, but it wouldn't matter anyway because it's past
there you go.
First
now
base.
We got the out.
They throw over for the out, and that is the call. So, again, we mentioned spring cobwebs. It is what it is. We accept it to some extent.
And like I said, you know, that sun down that way is a little bit brutal, so that's why you got your partner out there to help you. So 3-1 officially.
And I appreciate Brebeuf coaching staff. Wes Neese slightly frustrated, it would appear, with that call, but not much to argue there.
Yeah,
they got the call right.
That seemed like a pretty obvious one from our vantage point.
Let's have a brief meeting on the mound as well as Neese gets his 2 cents in. Everybody's got to stretch their legs every now and again. That conversation.
And now we're going to have another conversation.
Well, meeting with the umpires.
And
how does this end? I don't think this ends with, you know what? No, what we all saw didn't happen.
I think, you know, in this particular case, if I'm the home plate umpire, I go over and I talk to my partner just to placate everybody.
Sure.
You know, but ultimately, if the call's been made, the call's been made. You know, it's time to move on. We don't have the instant replay system or any of that kind of stuff, so there really shouldn't be a whole heck of a lot to talk about.
Coach Antone, no challenges in his pocket tonight. Don't have that here at the high school level. We already made the pitch clock joke earlier. Yep, no pitch clock to worry about. Well, a lengthy conversation with
So
head
far,
coach Anton.
the start of this game, and it's hard to say, hey, this is going right to plan when it's only been one inning. But if you look at the every other game from the Brebeuf side of things, man, this is just kind of how things have gone for them. They've been decent early. They kind of stay in the fight, and everything kind of goes their way. But it seems to like the wheels kind of fall off late. So hopefully the Royals can keep getting some base runners here.
I want to jump back for you here for a second because apparently the outcome I did not see coming. Dylan Wells is back out there. So it is not a ground out, despite it going past first base and being thrown over to first in time. They're going to instead just call it a strike. And a weird start to this game continues.
Yeah. And that's all that can be said.
Pendergrass ahead in the count 0-1, and that pitch is in the dirt. 1-1. The only argument I could think that you would make if you're Wes Neese is my guy didn't have enough chance to try to run that out because he thought it was a foul ball. That's the only argument I could see being made there. Pendergrass 1-1 is in for a strike, 1-2.
And I guess my counter to that would be he wasn't going to run it out.
Again,
he wasn't going to beat that out, so it's immaterial.
Correct. I would agree with you. Not even just bias the side of the Roncalli Media Network. I would agree with you. Swing and a miss doesn't matter. Punch out and might matter from a pitch count perspective, but either way, J.J. Pendergrass will appreciate the strikeout all the same. His third strikeout of the game.
Shortstop, number 1, Ethan Norris.
Going to bring Ethan Morris, the shortstop, up to the plate. Top of the second here, 1 away. Pendergrass delivers fresh pitch of the at-bat. Is just outside, 1-0. Pendergrass delivers the 1-0, and it's in there for a strike, 1-1. Norris up there right now. No hits, 0 for 6 so far this season. Pendergrass looks in. Pitch. Fouled back. Count 1-2.
Back to the point I was kind of making earlier. If you look at the Brebeuf schedule so far, they've gone 4 straight losses, but starts 1 and 3 were both pretty close games until late, and then 2 and 4 kind of got out of hand pretty
Strike
quickly.
3 called. Punch out number 4 for J.J. Prendergast. He's dealing on the mound right now, but yeah, to your point, it has been a very unique path to this 0-4 journey so far for the Braves.
Yeah, because in Game 1, which we had the same starting pitcher as tonight, they're up 4-1, in the 7th inning and wind up giving up 4 runs in the 7th to lose. So, they had another
pitch ball to Sobek, the left fielder.
Another start like that in game 3 where they were cruising right along, they were doing well, and then you get to the bottom of the 6th and Covenant Christian puts a bunch of runs in them.
Strike, swing and a miss there by Sobek, count 1-1.
They score 6 in the bottom of the 6th, and all of a sudden a 2-1 lead is a 7-2 loss. It speaks to their depth a little bit, but we're seeing the front end of it tonight.
1-1 upstairs, 2-1 the count. Sobek 2 for 6 on the season, 1 RBI. Top of the second here at LaPinta Field, Jimmy Cook, Chris Strykowski. Base is empty, we're scoreless. Though 4 strikeouts so far on the evening for Pendergrass. The 2-1, swing and a miss right by him, 2-2.
From a pitcher standpoint, I can tell you from experience, getting this guy out, this number 9 hitter, and not allowing that leadoff hitter to come back up here in this second inning is it's a big deal.
Looking to do just that. The 2-2 from Pendergrass is fouled back first base side of the play. Count remains 2-2.
Never want to let that lineup turn back over and potentially turn into something.
Just get yourself out of the inning and then have the top of the order next time around. Hopefully you get some run support before that arrives. 2-2 Pendergrass, just outside, full.
That's one he's got to squeeze. If he can squeeze and hold on to that, that's probably a call you can get. But I'm umpiring a lot of little league games in my days, and that's one of the things you always tell them, that, man, if you'd have just held on to that pitch, I might be able to call that a strike.
Pendergrass 3-2 is outside, ball 4, he walked him. So the 9 hole is aboard, brings us back to the top of the order.
Up to bat,
be Alex Corley.
Your catcher,
Reached on an error his first time.
So is that one my fault?
number 11, Alex Curley.
I mean, we do call it the broadcaster jinx in some aspects, so if you're trying to wear that hat early, yeah, I would say so.
I'll own it. Why not?
Pendergrass checks down, now checks in for the sign, delivers the fresh pitch of the at-bat. Low in the dirt for the ball, 1-0. Cookerly on the season, coming in 2 for 10, so reaching on the error earlier today. The 1-0 is upstairs, 2-0. Quick glance over at the runner there by Prendergast. Well, you mentioned wanting to close the inning strong and keep the momentum going for JJ, but imperative not to let this snowball and keep the damage control where it is with just a runner aboard.
Absolutely.
The 2-0, upstairs 3-0.
You got out of a bases loaded situation in the first inning. You don't want to attempt that too many times.
You're not going to hear any arguments about tempting fate. No doubt about that. Behind 3-0, pitch upstairs. He walked him. All 3 balls prior to that in the same spot upstairs. So runners on first and second. 2 outs here in the top of the second.
Andrew O'Brien.
Starting to leave everything up. He's really got to stride out, make sure that he's bending over at the waist, finishing through his pitches. He's leaving it up a little bit too much.
Courtesy runner again. Owen Moracle out there on first. So short lead off first and second for Sobek and Moracle. O'Brien, the third baseman, steps in. The pitch is away in the dirt. Ball 1. You hear the coaching staff or the fans from the benches telling Prendergast to relax, take a deep breath, and don't worry about the runners. Focus so much on O'Brien instead.
Great job. Great stop by the catcher there, getting outside.
Good work there by Henry. Quick glance at the runners. The 1-0 is in the dirt, but a good block once again by Henry.
Let's see, there we go.
Count
I was
2-0.
gonna say, this would be a good time for a visit from the pitching coach, but the catcher can do the job just as well, too.
You mentioned they walked the tightrope a little bit in that first inning. Bases were loaded at one point in time with 2 outs. Got a big strikeout by Prendergast, back-to-back strikeouts, in fact, to get out of it. Doesn't need back-to-back here, but needs to keep the at-bat competitive and throw strikes. Prendergast delivers the 2-0, is in there for a strike down the middle, 2-1.
It's amazing what a little chat from the catcher can do.
Helps you recenter, refocus.
If nothing else, it just breaks up the pattern.
At minimum, yep. Count 2-1, scoreless here, top of the second. Braves runners on first and second. A little bit of movement at second base. Quick step off there by Prendergast. Lead off is second for Sobek. Short lead off first by Moracle. The 2-1 delivery is swung on, hit to the shortstop hole. Fielded initially by Rader, but he bumbled it, and everybody's safe. Could not get a clean scoop on it.
You know what we said in the first inning about not coming up on the ball and letting it eat? Yep. Same
thing there for Rader.
Yep. He just kind of sat back, waited for it to come to him, and as the infield starts to get chewed up, it hits one of those little divots, and that's what can really hurt you, can really cost you.
Now have a brief conversation on the mound. They try to regroup and refocus here for Prendergast. You look at the setup to this. A strikeout, but the walk to Sobek, it always starts the walk in some aspect. Then a walk to Corley, and reaching on an error is O'Brien. And it'll bring up, as you mentioned, the last guy you want in these RBI situations, Will Loftus, the DH, awaiting in the wings.
And I had it down as my second key to the game to limit Loftus. You know, the junior is leading Brebeuf in nearly every offensive category: batting average, hits, RBIs,
429 on the season,
slugging percentage, doubles. They don't have anybody who's hit a home run yet, knock on wood. But man, keeping guys off the bases in front of him to be able to limit the damage that he can do is key. And so far in 2 at bats, he's come up to bat with guys on in scoring position.
.971 OPS and a .429 batting average for him. 6 hits, 3 RBIs in 14 at bats. He has the bases loaded here in the top of the second with 2 outs. Prendergast looks at his sheet momentarily, now looks down into Henry and delivers the first pitch of the at-bat. It is down low, 1-0. Unfortunately, there's no way to kind of dance around Loftus right now. No place to put him with the bases loaded. Going to come in there and attack the zone. 1-0 is fouled back home plate side. Count 1-1.
I mean, in a lot of situations, you're going to say, hey, we want to try and, hit the corners. We want to try and, kind of place our pitches here. But, man, with the walks that have come in, you really can't do that.
Pitch in there for a strike. Ahead 1-2 now is Prendergast.
I'd still be telling him, go right at him. Don't put it right down over the heart of the plate. But man, put it in a position where it's going to be a strike. Go challenge him, make him beat you in this particular case.
The 1-2 fouled first base side out of play. Count remains 1-2.
And the reason that I say that is because he's had a little bit of wildness through the first inning and a half here. And if you tell him to start nibbling on the corners and trying to play locate things, and now all of a sudden you bring your focus out of where it should be. Just go get him and overpower him.
Pitch 1-2 is just outside. Thought he might find the inside corner, but he did not. And it's 2-2 on the count.
Go right back in there. I'd go right back in there. Make him.
Yep.
Make him take that pitch the second time.
Everybody ready to run on contact. 2 outs here, top of the second. Prendergast trying to work magic again. The 2-2 is popped up in the air.
That's tough.
In the infield.
That's tough.
And have to find it and call it off. Successfully done by Baker. And the Royals and Prendergast get out of the jam. Back-to-back innings with the bases loaded for the Braves. They come up empty, though. And Roncalli will look to add and strike first, rather, in their half of the inning. For the Braves, no runs, no hits, 1 reach on an error. 3 men left. And at the end of 1.5 innings of play, we're scoreless here on the Roncalli Media Network.
While others focus on simply facilitating a transaction, Century 21 agents like Sarah Lux believe in the value of delivering extraordinary experiences by defying mediocrity and always giving you 121%. Find your new home or sell your current home with the best. Contact Sarah Lux at 502-6253 or online at listwithlux.com. That's Sarah Lux at listwithlux.com. Listwithlux.com.
A proud supporter of Roncalli High School, Indy Teledata provides IT solutions for businesses and organizations in central Indiana. For over 10 years, Steve Battiato and his team of professionals have provided comprehensive computing support, business telephone solutions, network infrastructure, and productivity suite integration. For a free evaluation of your technology needs, give Steve and his team a call at 317-231-5547 or visit us at indyteledata.com.
Flirting with disaster through 2 innings, Roncalli pitching staff and defense. But flirting is all it was. Able to get out of a jam with a infield fly out by Will Loftus, thanks to J.J. Prendergast. So we remain scoreless. So we see the Royals come up for the second time today. Not the type of offensive output they wanted in the first half of this. In the first inning, rather. 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Brings Hayden Scott, the center fielder, to lead things off here in the second inning. Along with Chris Strykowski, I'm Jimmy Cook. Thanks so much for spending part of your Tuesday night with us here on the Roncalli Media Network and RoncalliMediaNetwork.com, as well as on the Roncalli Media Network YouTube feed. Pitch is outside, 1-0 to start things off for Cotter. Cotter, a strikeout to his name in that first inning. 1-0 is swung on and hammered into left field. Way back at the track, it'll go off the wall. Rounding and going for a double is Scott. He'll be in there for a sliding double for the Royals. A leadoff double here in the second inning.
Left fielder out there got a really good hop off the fence. I thought it might be a closer play at second, but he didn't get a good throw into the relay man, and Hayden was actually able to get in there pretty easily.
So leadoff double for Scott. That was Sobek out there that made the throw in. And it'll bring up, actually, I'll have me on the mound brief. It'll bring up Prendergast.
Probably talking through signals with a runner on second.
Yep. Prendergast 3 for 6 on the year, 4 RBIs. Connor briefly looks over at the runner and delivers, swing and a miss. 0-1 the count.
Kind of like the pitcher being able to come up here and potentially try to help himself
Yeah.
out, especially after a couple of struggles in the first couple of innings. Get a base hit and kind of boost that confidence a little bit. Maybe score a run for yourself.
Short lead by Scott. Prendergast awaits the delivery. Throw over to second. Not in time. Getting back with a diving effort is Scott. Count remains 0-1. Try to keep as many head games or as involved as you can in Cotter. With a nice lead there is Scott. He'll glance over at the runner. Now look into Cookerly. That's in the dirt. Wild pitch gets behind him. Running and advancing to third is Scott. So in score, 90 feet away rather. Ready to score on contact is Scott.
And that's where a good catcher can really save yourself some bases and save yourself some runs. We saw that from our catcher here in the last
number of blocks
inning,
from Henry.
Keeping the ball in front of him and not allowing those runners to advance.
Well, Prendergast looking for anything to score the runner. Deep pop into center, left, or right. Nice tag up and get a sprint in for a run. Just a base hit to bring him home. The 1-1 is outside, 2-1.
Defense is leaving an awful lot of room up the middle. I'd like to see him just kind of tattoo one right back through the chute.
2-1 is inside, 3-1. Nearly scraped him. Prendergast just barely got out of the way there. Steps back in for the 3-1 delivery.
Still like to see him be a little aggressive here.
Cotter looks in. Windup and the pitch is upstairs, ball 4. He walked him. The runner's on the corners with nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning.
Now the big question is, they're gonna get the courtesy runner for JJ there. That's gonna be looks like number 19. 19. So the big question that we get here is, do you start the runner at first? 20 stolen bases for the Royals through 3 games. I would say chances are pretty good that you probably see him take off here,
yep.
Especially with a right-hander on the mound. And they say that the stolen base is dead. The running game is dead. Apparently not on the south side of Indianapolis.
Well, they might be saying in the high school ranks, but if you've happened to click into any of the major league ranks with the pitch clock and everything, you've seen a resurgence.
Yeah.
Turn back at the clock there. It's Michael Schaefer listed as number 19 in the scorecard tonight, the courtesy runner. Meeting at the mound here with runners on the corners for the Braves. Critical opportunity for Roncalli. You've seen their ability to get out of jams in back-to-back innings in the first and second. And the Braves, like you've mentioned, I mean, they've had a wide variety of different ways where losses have occurred, but any opportunity you can to prevent those runs from coming across, a good opportunity to kind of reset things in Cotter's mind and
sure,
hopefully reestablish.
And you know what? If
confidence.
If you are feeling like, you know what, we don't really have a whole heck of a lot to lose already at this juncture, maybe you're talking about some sort of a pickoff play.
Could be. Well, if we have the data in front of us about their opportunities to steal, you know the Braves have it as well. Brief look over to Schaefer. Cotter delivers, and that is a chopper third base side. It's mishandled, and a run will score. We'll see how they score it on the Roncalli side of things.
Being a short hop, I think that's probably a hit, personally.
So I'll go off of your book then. It's as good as any. We'll call it an RBI single. And the Royals on the board 1-0 with nobody out. Runners on first and second. Cotter looks over at the runner. Glances both at first and second. Movement on both bases, now a step off. Andrew Ball with the single for the RBI. Now Dylan Henry gets set for his first at-bat of the evening. Royals lead 1-0. First pitch of the at-bat is swung on and hammered down the third base line. It's stopped initially by the third baseman, who gets the force. It hit him right in the chest, but he's able to regather himself, scoop the ball, and tag the bag to get the force out. So one away, and runners right back at first and second where we started the at-bat. And that was a laser right in the chest of O'Brien. So it'll be a reach successfully on a single for Henry. And Vinny Shives, the courtesy runner for the catcher. Runners on first and second, one out. Drew Nelson at the plate for the Royals. His first at bat of the ball game. Quick glance at both runners for Cotter. Now look in and deliver. And that is a strike. Quick to his feet was Cookerly. Trying to keep the runners in check. Count 0-1.
Trying to figure out all the fancy technology that I'm trying to make use of here. So
we appreciate the efforts all the same. Throw over to second. Runner is back in time.
It was so much easier when you just scratch it in there like you're doing there. I might have to ditch and
abandon ship.
Go back the old route. I'm trying to be modern.
Runners dancing along the base path. Delivery's in the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Quickly to it, though, is Cookerly. He has no throw, and the runners advance to second and third with one out.
Another instance of, the catcher kind of beats it down and keeps it right there in front of him. You keep the runners in place.
Yep. Nelson 1 for 8 on the season. No RBIs to this point. Prime opportunity to get a couple here. Count even at 1-1. Runners on second and third, short lead both areas. 1-0 Roncalli lead. Pitch is upstairs, ball 2. Looking in for the sign is Cotter. Receives it from Cookerly. Again, short lead off second and third. The 2-1 delivery is outside, 3-1. And the strike zone has evaded Cotter for much of this second inning.
And this is what you see sometimes. A lot of times you can be solid, and then all of a sudden you get a little wild, and then those close pitches suddenly aren't being called strikes anymore.
Pitch is a strike. Throw back over to third, not in time. Diving back successfully was Ball. It'll be 3-2 the count. Nelson awaits the delivery. Cotter shakes off one and now steps off. Trying to take as much time as he can here. Critical juncture of this ball game. Royals trying to add to their lead. Already one run here in the bottom of the second. The payoff pitch. Swung on and hit in the air over the second baseman's head, and it's misplayed in right field. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. Standing into second with a double via the air is Nelson, and the Royals lead 3-0. Lost it in the sun, did Reinbold.
Remember what I was saying about that right field this time
Yep.
of the day? It's rough out there. And he just, it never really got very high. It was kind of a line drive. It probably stayed right there on the level of the sun, and he just never saw it come back out.
So it'll be an E9 that leads to 2 runs. And Roncalli in the driver's seat now here in the bottom of the second with only 1 out. I'm in on second in Nelson. And Maddox Hayworth, the second baseman, gets his first at bat of this ball game. Cotter trying to keep his composure out there on the mound. The delivery is a chopper down the third baseline, scooped up cleanly by O'Brien. He'll throw to first, but it's behind him, and a run will score again for Roncalli. They're going to send him to third. Rounding is Hayworth, and he will dive into third base. Well, the errors piling up for the Braves here in the bottom half of this second inning, and the Royals now lead it 4-0. The throw attempt was fielded cleanly by O'Brien, but he threw Holtzapfel off the bag, went behind him, bounced off of the fence there along the first base side, took a ricochet carom, and another run scores here with just 1 away in the bottom of the second. Rudy Shutley at the plate. He'll foul that one back. Third base side out of play.
And that's rough because when you make that throwing error like that, you know, it turns into 2 bases. That just compounds the problem.
Pitch is into a rundown now. Pitch was a ball outside, but now caught in a rundown is Hayworth, and he can only pray another Brebeuf error comes into play, and he'll be tagged out. So 2 away now. Hayworth caught in a rundown.
Looked like that was probably a safety squeeze that Maddox just got a little too aggressive.
A little happy on the bases.
Yeah.
So the only miscue there for the Royals gives us 2 outs now in the inning. Count remains 1-1. Pitch, chopped at, foul, third base side. Count 1-2. Well, the Royals, you can get greedy as much as you want as a baseball fan. You'd love an opportunity to have that one back for Hayworth and still add to this lead, but at a minimum, had to be thrilled with what's transpired so far in this inning, even though a lot of it self-inflicted by the Braves. Cotter's 1-2 is in the dirt. Count 2-2. Still give Roncalli credit. They got the base runners on, but a lot of the runs they put together this inning have been via some mental miscues on Brebeuf's part.
And again, early in the season,
Yep.
Those are the types of things that you kind of work through as the season goes on. But you know, when you're a little more veteran team, you can hopefully
Pitch, fouled back, third base side of the play.
you can hopefully limit those a little bit just from your your experience.
Count 2-2. And we can dive into the couple things I want to dive into from what happened in this inning, but what this pitch happened as well in terms of stuff maybe you can't count on for Roncalli, but you'll take the runs where you can. Pitch is upstairs and we're full 3-2. Like, for instance, the fly out into right field. I mean, obviously it's a La Pinta field advantage there with the sun, but ordinarily that's a fly out. That's not a scenario you can count on and bank on, but you'll take them where you can get them.
Sure, and something like that, instead of getting 1 run,
3-2 upstairs, you walked him.
Maybe 1 run on a sacrifice fly like that. You wind up getting 2 and you double up. It's the good teams that take advantage of the opportunities when things like that present themselves.
Yep. It's a great point. Got to put yourself in an opportunity to capitalize at minimum. Sometimes a little luck comes your way. Luke Green stands in. Short lead for Shutley via the walk. 2 outs here. Swing and a miss for Green. He struck out his first time. Royals lead at 4-0, bottom of the second inning from La Pinta Field.
And as Brebeuf goes back and looks at this this game, afterwards, they're going to look at their own opportunities to do things where they didn't come through those first 2 innings to put themselves in this position.
Cotter delivers the 0-1, and it's a pitch out, throw over to first, not in time. Back cleanly is Shutley. Count 1-1.
Yeah, that was clearly supposed to be a pitch out, but that caught an awful lot of that outside corner, it sure looked like.
Whether it was a pitch out or not, Cookerly clearly had the intention to make a throw over either way.
Absolutely.
Cotter will glance over to first. Now looking for the sign from Cookerly. He nods and delivers, trying to steal. It'll be a successful stolen base for Shutley. It was a wild pitch that went behind, through the wickets rather, for Cookerly. So count is 2-1. Will be the homer broadcast as we're supposed to be. I'll give that a stolen base to Shutley.
Yeah, he had already taken off.
Thought so as well. Cotter glances briefly at Shutley. It was a short lead off second. Royals lead 4-0. 2 outs here, bottom of the second. The 2-1, a swing and a miss. And the count now 2-2.
And if you're Luke, the ideal thing here to do in this at bat at 2-2, shorten up just a little bit, put the ball in play somewhere, make them make a play on you.
Cotter glances briefly at Shutley. Delivers, called strike 3. So the Braves get out of the inning, but not before the damage is done. 4 runs for the Royals, put them in the driver's seat through 2 innings of play. They lead rival Brebeuf 4-0. Top of the third, around the corner on the Roncalli Media Network.
Steve's Flowers and Gifts is your family-owned Indianapolis and Greenwood florist. Our mission is to establish and maintain the highest level of floral value and customer service at comfortable consumer prices. For the best and freshest flowers in Indianapolis and surrounding areas, Steve's Flowers and Gifts has exactly what you're looking for. Check out our wide selection of flower arrangements to make your next occasion memorable. Call 317-787-3431 or visit us at 3150 East Thompson Road.
When looking for reliable HVAC professionals, look no further than Ane and Bartram Heating and Cooling. Whether you need a routine maintenance check or an emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit, Ane and Bartram are available to handle all of your heating, cooling, and ventilation needs. Ane and Bartram strive to be the best, so call them today at 317-889-9574. They even have 24/7 emergency service. Call them today, Ane and Bartram, 317-889-9574.
Back here at La Pinta Field, top of the third, Royals in the driver's seat leading 4-0 over the Brebeuf Jesuit Braves. Quick look at the upcoming athletic events this week. We'll get to those throughout this inning. Tomorrow night, girls tennis versus New Pal, 5 o'clock start there. Boys, girls track and field dual meet versus Avon at 5 o'clock. You were indeed right in between commercial breaks there, Coach. It'll be a 6 o'clock matchup at Brebeuf for boys baseball tomorrow. So it'll be a quick turnaround on both sides. Softball as well at Brebeuf, 5:30. So you got a little dual action opportunity there if you travel to the north side of town.
All right, let's see if JJ can get it dialed back in. He's got a little bit of breathing room now. He had a chance to get an at bat in.
Strike.
That's a great way to start it.
Back-to-back innings for this Royals pitching staff, Prendergast in particular, with the bases loaded with 2 outs, but able to wiggle out both times. Now, as you mentioned, Chris, the opportunity now with run support to play a little bit freer, a little bit looser, and hopefully get locked back into where he was in the opening portions of both those half innings.
Yeah. And a lot of times it can just be something as simple as, hey, I got the bat on the ball.
Pitch. Swung on and hit towards second base. It's fielded cleanly. Throw over is in time. Good exchange there from Haywood to Green. And there's one away.
And that's one, since we do have the video here tonight, where if you want to compare that with what Raiders had a couple of times, where that one was hit quickly enough that he really didn't have the opportunity to come up on it. But because it's hit quickly, it doesn't hit those ruts nearly as much as what the two that were hit the shortstop did.
Fresh pitch of this at bat. Bunt showed. It goes foul. There by Reinbold. Reinbold struck out his first time in the first inning. One of 4 strikeouts on the day for Prendergast. He's ahead here 0-1. The delivery, bunt showed again. Will be strike. Oh, I was going to say he didn't go around. Correction, 1-1.
Okay.
I don't think he pulled that back enough, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean. When you put the bat out there, you gotta make an attempt there.
They check an appeal to first, and they say it's a ball, and that one just missed the zones. Count 2-1. We've seen a couple of times, regardless of if you're arguing balls and strikes or not, where Prendergast has been in these early strike counts, then falls behind. That one fouled back and evens the count at 2-2. You mentioned you hope that, in general for the junior, with that 4-run lead, able to kind of resettle himself and add a couple more strikeouts to the ledger. An opportunity here. 2-2 to Reinbold is swung on, grounded to third. Fielded cleanly, throw is high, though, but staying put at first base is Reinbold. Just got off the bag. Green did via the toss from Nelson. It'll put a runner on via the error. Another base runner for the Braves.
And I want to make sure that I point out the hustle play by Dylan Henry right there from the catcher's spot, doing exactly what he's supposed to do on that play and going down and backing up first base. He's the reason that that guy's not on second.
Yep. Kept him out of scoring position. Good hustle there by Henry. First pitch of this at bat is a swing and a miss right by him. As Josh Bingham, who struck out his first time back in the first inning, up for the Braves. 4-0 your score here, top of the third from LaPinta Field. You mentioned that's very unique, the play sheet on the wrist there of Prendergast. Takes a look at it, and there's a strike down the middle. I guess less of a play sheet, more of a pitch design or pitch outline, but still.
Yeah. And my own personal feeling, having been a pitcher at one time myself, I think that would have been tough for me because I was the type that I like to have all of my focus right in on the catcher and taking that
pitch,
focus.
Fouled back, home plate side, runner will return to first.
Taking that focus away to look down and see what that is and then have to reestablish it. That would have been something that would have been really tough for me.
I tried to avoid this, but shout out to our PA announcer, Keegan McCarthy, with us tonight. He informed me, which it is. I just didn't want to say it, but quarterback wristband was the proper terminology. I just didn't want to bring that to the diamond, but he is accurate in that regard. 0-2, fouled back, first base side out of play. Count remains 0-2. But you're right, in general, particularly at this level, you'd like to just be focused on mechanics and worried about at bat versus at bat instead of having to glance down.
Sometimes the more things that you have to do and worry about and focus on, the more it can kind of give you to have to do those things. You have to focus on those extra things.
Reinbold leads off first, and they'll throw over to first. Went behind, though, unable to be captured cleanly by Green. Still, though, runner stays put. Does Reinbold as he dives back. 0-2 count here, one away in the top of the third. Prendergast looks in to Henry. Takes a quick glance at the sleeve. Now to the runner. Delivers the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Pitch or out is high. I beg your pardon. The throw to second. Unable to gather it on the high throw, but asking a lot out of Henry. And I think even had he been able to make that successfully, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Strikeout to end the inning either way. I lost track of where we were at. So, moot point as you look at the throw out opportunity for Henry. Just showing off the arm is all he was doing there and taking us for granted up here. It's the strikeout punch out to end the inning either way, and strikeout number 5 on the evening for J.J. Pendergrast. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, Royals lead 4-0 and set to come up to bat after this on the Roncalli Media Network.
Always giving you 100. While others focus on simply facilitating a transaction, Century 21 agents like Sarah Lux believe in the value of delivering extraordinary experiences by defying mediocrity and always giving you 121%. Find your new home or sell your current home with the best. Contact Sarah Lux at 502-6253 or online at listwithlux.com. That's Sarah Lux at listwithlux.com. Listwithlux.com.
Sports fans, it's Mark Maloney with JC Bank. Whether tailgating or listening to the game at home, JC Bank invites you to BYOB. Be your own branch. Got a laptop with Wi-Fi or a smartphone? Well, BYOB 24/7 with JC Bank's online and mobile banking options. Hey, you can even apply for a mortgage online with JC Bank. And remember, we're happy to serve you at one of our local JC Bank offices too. And we'll be opening soon in Greenwood. Get in the game at jcbank.com/BYOB. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Welcome back to LaPinta Field. First pitch of this inning is a leadoff single for Sam Rader. Hits it just past the third baseman. Taking you a little bit behind the curtain here, so to speak, as we continue just the spring cobwebs that are there as Hayden Scott gets set for his second plate appearance this evening. There's no communication like there is the minor league and professional level when the umpire makes a call, but only had 2 outs listed that inning, so either they called the base runner running out of the base path or we missed something as Scott pops it up into the infield, and it's grabbed out of the air by Cotter. So there's 1 away. Either way, they clearly, given the Braves' fearlessness to argue what was a clear ground out in our opinion in the first inning,
right.
If they had gotten robbed out of an opportunity, they would have run out there. So what was called, I don't know. I don't have it
in
for
my
you.
coaching days, I would have lost my mind. I'll say that.
Oh, Prendergast at the plate. Short lead for Rader. Strike on the opening delivery.
So there's clearly an explanation. We just don't know what it is.
Don't have it. My only guess is that they're going to say he ran out of the base path trying to get to second. Because the throw by Henry was into center field.
Yeah. Or maybe it could have been some kind of interference with
that could have been too.
Throw.
It's a good point. Fouled back. A lot of hard work there by Rader, but he's got to head back to first base. So it was fouled back, count 0-2. That's a good point because the way that throw was and the batter kind of looked like maybe he would have blocked Henry's throw.
Yeah.
Perhaps that was the ruling as well. Pendergast walked his first time in the second inning. Orioles had plate appearances by everybody but Rader in that second inning, leading to 4 Roncalli runs. Rader now with that short lead off first. Bottom of the third, Royals lead 4-0, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the third, throw over to first, back easily is Rader. Count stays 0-2.
And we kind of saw a microcosm of that in the big word of the day, microcosm.
Well done.
I saw that in the last half inning. Our third key to the game is just getting pressure throughout this offensive lineup for the Royals. If you look at their
pitch upstairs, 1-2.
Look at the stats so far through 3 games. They've had 11 different players score runs and driven in by 7 different hitters. So it hasn't just been 1 or 2 guys that have been doing the damage. It's really been throughout the lineup where you've seen their runs being scored. So we're kind of seeing that once again tonight.
1-2, going is Rader. Throw is not in time. He'll be safe. It's a lot tighter than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
The way that ball traveled there, but he is diving headfirst safely into second with a stolen base.
Oops.
Count 2-2 for Prendergast. Runner in scoring position is Rader. Royals trying to add to their 4-0 lead. Quick glance at Rader by Connor. Pitch upstairs, we're full.
Adding yet another stolen base to the tally.
Make it the 5th on the season for Rader, as Coach alluded to there. Short lead for Rader off second. Now he extends it a bit, getting ahead of Connor. 3-2 is hit in the air into shallow center field. Going to be a tough play for Wells. He dives and makes the catch. Tagging up is Rader.
He dropped it.
Is it a single?
Yeah,
He's fine?
he dropped it.
Thought the initial indication from the umpire was he had it, but it looked like he scrambled for the baseball like you mentioned. So misplayed error once again by this Braves outfield. And it'll leave runners on the corners with 1 out. First it was Reinbold mishandling a pop-up into right field that led to the Roncalli runs in the 2nd inning. And this time it's Wells joining the error party, losing that one in the sun.
And, kudos to him. He came at it. He laid out. He just couldn't hang on. But good piece of base running out there at second by Mr. Rader. And not getting too far off, being able to tag up if he needed to, but still being able to take that extra base.
Running and advancing successfully there was Prendergast. Oh, correction, they would have had a courtesy runner there, I would assume.
They did.
Yep. So he's able to take second. Slight defensive indifference there as the throw was to third, completely ignoring the play to second. Strike in there, count 1-1. Runners on second and third as his first plate appearance tonight for Johnny Jaffe. 0 for 2 on the season is the sophomore. 1-1 is fouled back third base side on a play. Count 1-2. Assuming I haven't made an early season botch of the lineup card. Have Jaffe coming in here for Ball at this plate appearance.
I have the same.
All right. Good to know. No cobwebs on our end at this point. Knock on wood. Short lead off of second and third for the Royals. 1-2 to Jaffe. Just inside, nearly hit him. Jaffe able to get out of the way. Count 2-2. Royals a grand opportunity to be in the driver's seat in the Circle City Conference standings with this back-to-back against the Braves. Holding serve to this point at LaPinta Field. Again, short lead off second and third, 2-2, swing and a miss for Jaffe, and he'll be down on strikes, 2 away.
The reaction there, I thought maybe he fouled it off.
Did
Actually, he is
okay.
staying up there. Yeah, he did.
So good eye on your part, and the catcher just kind of stretching out a bit.
Yeah, looked like it took a bite out of his foot.
Yep. So staving off elimination via the strikeout is Jaffe.
Good job by the umpire there to recognize the catcher taking a little bit of a foul tip there and going out and taking a nice leisurely stroll out to the mound and placing the new baseball in the pitcher's glove, chatting him up a little bit, Those catchers and home plate umpires, they got to take care of each other.
There. Yep. Runners on second and third, 1 away here in the bottom of the third inning. Royals lead 4-0. Jaffe awaits. Connor's 2-2. The pitch swung on and chopped towards third base. The throw home, sliding in, and the play is made in time by Cookerly. So runners now on first and third for Roncalli with 2 away.
Up to bat for Roncalli, your catcher, number 14, Dylan Henry.
It's probably what they call the contact play, where you're running on contact. And realistically, when you have that on, there's really, you want it to be on contact except to one place, and you just really can't predict. Unfortunately, sometimes when that's going to be where it goes.
Bring Dylan Henry to the plate. He hits one into the gap between second and third. It'll be an RBI single for Dylan Henry, and the Royals lead 5-0. Have a courtesy runner in here as well for Henry.
Courtesy runner, number 11. Parker Dodger. Up to bat, the third baseman, number 6, Drew Nelson.
Parker Doherty set to be the courtesy runner there. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. With Drew Nelson at the plate. There's a pitch out opportunity. Throw over to first, not in time. Dangerous water there for the Royals. As Daughtry able to get back, I beg your pardon. Doherty back to first and will re-examine his lead. As Cotter steps on the mound. 5-0 Roncalli. 4 runs in that second. 1 run here in the third.
And this is an opportunity for Roncalli to kind of do what Brebeuf did here, just an inning ago, where you got the number 9 hitter, got a chance to kind of turn the lineup back over.
Pitch inside for a ball, 2-0 the count.
And potentially doing a little extra damage while you're doing it. It's those little things you like to see early in the season, kind of those little adjustments kind of being accomplished.
Nelson reached on an error, that error to right field that really put a majority of the Royals' runs on the board. There's a strike thrown by Cotter, count 2-1. It's always earn himself a real RBI here.
Always a little disheartening when you get that perfect pitch, probably the best pitch you're going to see the entire at bat, and you let it go.
Yep.
You could just kind of see his shoulders drop a little bit, like, I
That's
can't
what he was
believe
looking
it.
for. Nelson awaits the 2-run. Doherty leads off first. Shortly off second for Jaffe. The 2-1. In the dirt, 3-1 the count. Well, now things get interesting here for Drew Nelson. Ordinarily, you'd say it could be green light city for him, but given the last couple of pitches, you might be tempted just to dare Cotter to throw a strike.
I let him go 1 pitch, 1 spot.
3-1 down the middle. 3-2 full.
And that might have been my 1 pitch, 1 spot. So you just tell him, hey, you know what? 1 pitch, 1 spot. There's 1 pitch you're looking for in one particular
you see
spot.
Middle,
if you get
go.
it, light it up.
Yep.
If not, live to fight another day.
Well, now it's a payoff pitch. Runners ready to go on contact. Off first and second, 3-2 is inside, ball 4. So successfully managing that well was Drew Nelson. He reaches on the walk, and the bases are loaded.
Maddox, Hayworth.
For Vinny Shives.
I will gladly wear that broadcaster jinx.
Yeah, you got that one. It's a W there.
I have no problem with that one.
Shives into the game with the bases loaded. Vinny awaits the delivery from Cotter. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Bottom of the third, swing and a miss. Count 0-1. Shives on the season. Well, this is actually his first plate appearance of the year. Pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1. Quick glance towards the runners by Cotter. Trying to get out of a bases-loaded jam and keep the damage just 1 run here in the third. The delivery, swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. Correction, count was 0-2 going into that pitch. So able to get out of it on strikeout is Cotter, but not before the Royals add 1 more. 3 left for Roncalli, but they still are in command, leading 5-0. Braves back up to the plate in the top of the 4th, right after this break on the Roncalli Media Network.
Marian University wants to know, what are you made of? At Marian University, our students are made of character and faith. Our students are service-minded and want to make a difference in the world. Our students possess the skills and intellect required of leaders. Come to Marian University, Indy's premier Catholic university, and let us help you find out what you're made of. You can apply for free today at marian.edu.
Sports fans, it's Mark Maloney with JC Bank. Whether tailgating or listening to the game at home, JC Bank invites you to BYOB. Be your own branch. Got a laptop with Wi-Fi or a smartphone? Well, BYOB 24/7 with JC Bank's online and mobile banking options. Hey, you can even apply for a mortgage online with JC Bank. And remember, we're happy to serve you at one of our local JC Bank offices too. And we'll be opening soon in Greenwood. Get in the game at jcbank.com/BYOB. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back here at La Pinta Field, Royals lead at 5-0, top of the fourth inning. A 4 spot for them in the bottom of the second. First delivery for Prendergast in the top of the fourth, in there for a strike. Dylan Wells up for the Braves. That pitch in the dirt, count 1-1. Wells struck out his first time. That in the second inning. Braves going to have to find a way to claw their way out of this. They're just in their first win of the season. The 1-1 is hit in the air into center field, all the way back towards the track, and it bounces off the wall. It'll be a leadoff double for Austin Wells. Good chase opportunity there for Scott, but he just could not make up the ground. He was playing a little in, didn't anticipate that being a shot all the way to the track, out towards 380. But able to throw it in time and limit the damage to just a double.
Yeah, he got back on it well, got a good hop off of the fence, and made a strike throw back into the infield to keep him right there.
Leadoff double for Wells. That'll bring the shortstop, Edwin Norris, I beg your pardon, to the plate. Thought about potentially stealing there, did Wells, or perhaps for show to keep both Pendergrass and Henry on their toes. Pitching there for a strike, count 0-1. Wells struck out his first time, that back in the second inning. Quick glance over the delivery for Pendergrass, fouled back first base side of the play, count 0-2.
And this is a situation where if you're JJ, don't even worry about that. You made a good pitch. He made a good hit. These things happen, all right? Just bear down. Focus on the batter. You've got a 5-run lead. Let's focus in on throwing strikes.
Totally agree. Pretend like the runner isn't even there. Prendergast ahead 0-2. Pitch is fouled back behind home plate. Count remains 0-2.
Something interesting. I don't think I've seen this before down the right field bullpen. Looks like we've got a rehab start or something going on down there. You got two guys playing catch that don't have the full uniform on.
Got gym shorts and a jersey look out there. 0-2 is just upstairs. 1-2 the count. Prendergast already on the day. 5 strikeouts to his name. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for J.J. Prendergast. And there's one away here in the top of the fourth.
Up to bat for left fielder, number 28, Nick Sobek.
The left fielder in Sobek up for the Braves. Drew a walk his first time. Prendergast glances over and trying to take third. The throw is behind the third baseman. That'll score a run for the Braves on the error. Would have been a tough play for Nelson as a whole. Henry threw it behind him, dugout side of third base, and the Braves are on the board. It's 5-1.
And that's really a tough one because, it was a tough throw to begin with, and then you've got your left fielder playing over in the gap.
Yep.
So there's really nobody there to back it up, even if we were potentially able to make a play.
So bases cleared now with the run across for Wells. Oil still in the driver's seat, 5-1. Prendergast, the 1-0, is in the dirt ball 2. Sobek on the season coming in 2 for 6. 333 batting average on the year. Prendergast delivers the 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Ahead once again, 1-2. How's the electric score chart treating you?
Well, I'm still figuring it out. There we go. Now we got it.
1-2 delivery, strike 3, swing and a miss, blew it right by him. Back-to-back strikeouts for J.J. Prendergast, strikeout number 7 on the evening for him. And with 2 away, it'll bring up the top of the order once again as Alex Cookerly, the catcher, comes up. He reached on a single in the first and walked in the second.
J.J. last, since those first couple of innings, seems like he's getting stronger as the evening goes on. Not sure if he might be on a little bit of a pitch count or something, but we do have some action down in the left field bullpen as well.
We'll get to that in just a second. First pitch of the at-bat is in the dirt. Count 1-0. It would appear to be I believe it's Michael Schaefer is the one warming up down there. Always a 50-50 chance my vision is betraying me, but
I'm seeing 19.
I see that as well. And as we mentioned, Schaefer listed as 19 on the scorecard tonight, despite being listed as 4 in the varsity program. Prendergast with a 2-0 delivery is off the plate. Count 3-0.
So he's number 4 in the program, but number 19 in your hearts.
Exactly. Indeed. Well, his warm-up session is done. He'll head to the dugout now, and he would presume, if we're playing it off of that way, pitch 2-1 in there for a strike 2-2. This might be the last inning for Prendergast. Regrettably, and I'll admit this to the audience, a lot of things I prepared for looking for cobwebs today have not done a good job monitoring the pitch count. So I don't know where we're at in that regard for Prendergast, but given the fact as he walks yet another there to put a runner on first with 2 outs, given the fact the bases loaded has occurred twice tonight through 4 innings, I'm willing to wager it's up there. But I understand, though, from a broadcasting standpoint, it's up there is not a measurement that anybody really wants to ride home with.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see any roster bonuses paid out to MLB players based on it's up there.
No, you're not. No incentives in the contract with that type of language. 2 outs, and that's hit into the shortstop hole into left field. So all of a sudden, and this is the second time tonight this has happened, Chris, where you've had back-to-back strikeouts for Prendergast, and then whether it's errors, walks, or base hits, Braves immediately answer back with runners on.
Yep.
Runners on first and second in this regard. Weren't able to really capitalize either time outside of the 1 run on that errant throw by Henry.
And it's coming after you get down to the bottom. You get to the bottom of the lineup, you turn it over, and those first couple of guys, doing the job offensively. And whether it's being patient and taking your pitches and taking your walks, or like in that particular case, I almost said good wood on the ball, but we all know that that's not happening in high school.
No.
Good metal on the ball
Pitch.
and hitting it into short left.
Swing and a miss by Loftus. This is the second time tonight he's had a great opportunity to bring things home for the Braves. Their RBI leader, batting north of 400 on the season, coming in. Runners lead first and second. That's a chopper down the third baseline foul. Count 1-2.
And from a coaching standpoint, you sure don't feel good about looking down at the score sheet and knowing that their best hitter has failed to produce the last 2 times, you got to figure, if you want to go back to that vague language, he's due.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, strikeout number 8 for J.J. Prendergast. And if that is indeed his outing, heck of an outing for him. Gets through 4 innings of work. It allows only 1 run, including 7 strikeouts. Roncalli will look to add to their lead in their half at the end of 3.5 innings of play. Royals 5, Braves 1 on the Roncalli Media Network.
Providing comfort for families in their time of need is the main concern of the staff at Lauk Veldoff Funeral Home. We are a small family-owned firm and take great pride in the personal service we offer and the family-like atmosphere at our facility. At Lauk Veldoff, we only serve one family at a time, providing compassionate care and affordable options, truly part of your community. Lauk and Veldoff Funeral and Cremation Services. Call 317-636-6655. A proud supporter of Roncalli High School, Indy Teledata provides IT solutions for businesses and organizations in central Indiana. For over 10 years, Steve Battiato and his team of professionals have provided comprehensive computing support, business telephone solutions, network infrastructure, and productivity suite integration. For a free evaluation of your technology needs, give Steve and his team a call at 317-231-5547 or visit us at indyteledata.com.
Royals lead at 5-1 headed into the bottom half of the 4th inning. Alongside Chris Strykowski, I'm Jimmy Cook. Rudy Shutley, the left fielder, set to lead things off for the Royals. Flied out in the first and walked in the second. His 2 plate appearances this evening. Opening delivery shows bunt initially, able to pull it back. Count 1-0.
You know what, Jimmy, with the weather being so fantastic today, this is a great opportunity for anybody might be watching or listening.
Pitch swung on and hitting the air into the second base hole. Throw is in time. Shutley unable to beat that throw out. Tip the cap for the effort. 1 away.
Good time for anybody who might be watching or listening to start thinking about summer camps. I know it seems a little odd to start thinking about summer already, but man, summer's coming up. It's just a handful of weeks away, and the Roncalli Athletic Department once again is going to have a full list of summer athletic camps. Simply go online to the Royals website, look for that link, and get registered for some summer camps.
1-0 pitch. Swung through by Green. Just for the sake of comedy, athletics.roncalli.org/summer-sports-camps. We'll take you there as well, as it's chopped at and fouled behind home plate. Count 1-2. But you're right, always an opportunity to not only stay involved with the community, but spend some of your summertime playing the games you love. No place like it here at Roncalli.
And having 2 kids myself, I can attest that when you start looking at the cost of summer camps.
1-2 in there for a strike, and they'll sit down Green, second out of the inning.
The cost for the Roncalli summer camps is a deal. Absolutely should jump on that.
Ground out and strikeout to start this 4th inning for the Royals. Bring Sam Rader to the plate. Flying out in the first. Reached on a single in the 3rd. Pitch is hitting the air into center field. Going to be a tough play to make for Reinbold, and it's over his head. Rader throws off the helmet. He's going to think about 3 and will stop at second with a double. A 2-out double for Sam Rader, and the Royals right back in scoring position here in the bottom of the 4th.
You could just kind of tell when the right fielder froze off the bat that was going to be a tough play. You still got the sun, not as bad as what it was before, but you still got the sun to deal with out there. And when he didn't get a good jump from the get-go, it was a potential 3 bases, no doubt.
So Royals looking for some two-out success here with a runner in scoring position and Rader on second. As Hayden Scott, the center fielder, comes up. Double in the second. Pitch is a strike there, count 0-1. And a fly out in the third has been his day. Cotter looks in. Still no activity from the Braves bullpen, so you figure it's kind of his game to continue to play through. 0-1 is hammered over the shortstop head and into the outfield. One run will score. Coming home is Rader, and they'll stop Scott at first with an RBI single. And it's 6-1 Royals. Make it 3 consecutive innings with the Royals putting some runs on the board. Back in command with a 5-run advantage here in the bottom of the fourth.
And that's just a great piece of hitting by those two guys because it's their third at-bat. They've probably seen all his pitches to this point, and each one of those hits were just stung. Couldn't have been hit much harder.
J.J. Prendergast walked and reached on an error. That in the second and the third inning, respectively. Going is Scott. He'll dive into second, head first with a stolen base. Couldn't have done much more there if you're Cookerly behind home plate, but just a great jump right out of the gate by Scott. And now he's in scoring position, count 1-0. Short lead for Scott. Cotter looks over and delivers the 1-0, and it's in there for a strike, 1-1.
Nice pitch right on the outside corner. But it's one of those that, if you're not looking out there without a strike on you, probably let that one go.
No impact on the weather temperature there for that call?
No.
1-1. Fouled back first base side of the play, count 1-2.
That was solid all the way around.
I want to remind you while we have a second, we'll next be on the air this Thursday night. That in the softball ranks, though, as the Royals host Tri-West. 6 p.m. first pitch. Broadcast details to follow. We'll have it for you on RoncalliMediaNetwork.com, on the Roncalli Media Network YouTube page. Short lead for Scott. The 1-2 is upstairs, nearly grazed Prendergast. Count 2-2.
A little chin music, they call that.
Yep. And a couple close calls tonight on Cotter's delivery. 6-1 Royals. Bottom of the fourth. Runner on second, 2-2, and that one hit him. Lost the command of that one, and Prendergast will reach on the hit by pitch.
And you could tell from the last pitch, he's was starting to lose that command a little bit. I don't think there was any ill intent there. I think that's just a youngster getting a little later in the game. Probably not built the stamina up just yet to go this many pitches.
And now you have activity as Owen Moracle gets loose in the Braves bullpen. Johnny Jaffe will step in for his second at bat of the season. Reached his first time, that just last inning. Runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Johnny Jaffe really got a great opportunity to kind of bust this open a little bit. Put something in an alley somewhere.
If he can get it aggressively, he has space in between second and third.
Maybe get into that bullpen a little bit.
Wouldn't hate that. Runners lead. Starting pitch of the at-bat to Jaffe is hit in the air into left field. Make that right field, and it's misplayed. Stumbling on the ground is Reinbold. 1 run will score. Ball is yet to be gathered. 2 runs will score. From our scoring column, depending on how you want to be, are you going to mark it as double?
He didn't touch it. If he doesn't touch it, it can't be an error, right?
Fair point. Stumbled on his own out there in right field did Reinbold.
And you just wonder
but
if
it's a double for Jaffe.
If that last play was maybe floating in the back of his mind.
Well, now he's trying to overcompensate, like you mentioned. Your point, he's had the sun in his eyes and issues with that. Trying to get the perfect read this time, not make the error, and that time he just stumbles, falls, and undercuts himself. Yeah. By the time the throw comes inside, it's a double for Jaffe, and the Royals lead 8-1. The catcher, Dylan Henry, up at the plate. Short lead for Jaffe off second. Down in there for a strike, 0-1. Jaffe with, if I have this right on my end, a double and a single and a double respectively.
Yeah, that
for
first
Jaffe.
that first one was probably a fielder's choice. Went to the third
Yep.
baseman.
Yep.
He threw home.
Yep.
But the end result was the same. He wound up on first base.
Short lead off second, 0-1 to Henry. Cotter deals inside, 1-1. Well, this has to feel good for Roncalli. Obviously, you'll take in general the wins. They continue to pile up, 3-0 coming into this one, but this has started to go less on the errors and more on just the overall situational awareness of Roncalli to capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah, and those are the things that are going to pay off.
Throw over to second, and now we got a run down. Jaffe's going to commit and slide to third, and he's tagged out. Jaffe got caught in no man's land, as instead of a pitch delivery, it was a throw over to second. He was not ready for it, had to commit, made the choice to go to third. He didn't have it, likely going to be out either way.
Yeah.
But still, the damage is done for Roncalli. They leave 2, but chart 3 runs in the bottom of that 4th inning to take an 8-1 lead into the top of the 5th. And we'll have a new pitcher that we'll discuss. No, actually, Pendergrass will come back out there, so scrap everything. Pendergrass going to come out there for the top of the 5th as well. So all things rolling for Roncalli here on the Roncalli Media Network.
Never lose your drive to deliver. Today's logistics marketplace is an ever-changing landscape where you can make your mark through dedication and passion. At Spot, these characteristics, along with drive and teamwork, form the basis for a rewarding, fast-paced career. Take it from our Roncalli co-founder and our dynamic group of Royals alumni. They've never lost the entrepreneurial spirit that provides the foundation for our continued success. There's never been a time like this, and there has never been a partner like Spot. We're relentless, we are experts, we are accomplished, and like you, we will never lose our drive to deliver. Come find your spot at spotinc.com/careers. Go Royals! Hey, maybe the summer blew by and your child hasn't been to his or her back-to-school eye exam. Let the experts take a look and schedule an appointment today with Vision Quest Eye Care. Vision Quest has 2 locations to serve you and your family in Greenwood and Geist. Visit VisionQuestEyeCare.com and schedule today. That's VisionQuestEyeCare.com.
Jimmy Cook and Chris Strykowski back here at La Pinta Field. Royals well in command of this one. 8-1, they lead it heading into the top of the 5th inning, and J.J. Prendergast, as you joked about, negotiated his way into potentially one more half inning of 1-run ball to this point.
And especially, I mean, if you look at the stat page, he doesn't have a whole lot of innings yet, on the season, and he's going to be somebody you're going to depend on. So you want to build him up.
0-1. Yeah, I mean, anytime you have an opportunity to continue to get repetition and continue to build your staff early on, and they're still looking good and have command of the situation, pitch 0-1 outside 1-1. Let him ride out there, have an opportunity to keep his feet wet and kind of get the long-term sea legs underneath him, if you will, for the long campaign.
And you know what? Let him struggle a little bit in a game where he's got some room for error.
Yep.
Pitch.
Check swing. Did he go? He did. 1-2 the count.
He already worked himself out of a couple of jams early on in the game.
You talk about those errors.
Yeah.
A couple of unforced situations of bases loaded. And
so let him struggle a little bit. Let him figure it out in a game when, you know what, okay, we've got command.
Pitch, swing, and a miss. Down on strikes. One of the things, I'm not trying to undercut what you've done because the digital master, you told me you're a little nervous to start off with, but you're well on your way to a resume point here with your digital scorecard. But for me to successfully have the 10 strikeouts on the pen and paper, and with my handwriting, as my public address announcer can attest to, still be able to read it on my end is a win in and of itself.
Hey.
Strike in there, 0-2 the count.
Kudos on all ends.
It's a good broadcast booth to start the season. Royals on top, 8-1 here, top of the 5th inning. Jimmy Cook and Chris Strykowski. 0-2 pitch is outside 1-2. Same situation here, Coach. You got to only glance at the runner every so often, but if you're Prendergast, you've had a phenomenal start to this point. Can't even worry about him. Got to worry about what's in front of you.
It's 8-1. That guy means nothing at this point.
Pitch, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11 for J.J. Prendergast. Really in a groove tonight at La Pinta Field. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left at the end of 4 innings of play. Make it 4.5 innings of play, rather. Roncalli 8, Brebeuf 1. Royals set to come up to the plate around the corner on the Roncalli Media Network.
Meet Zach. Zach rides everywhere, day and night, rain or shine. At Indiana Members Credit Union, we know Zach. We know he's been saving up for a car. We're here to help Zach and you. Now get pre-approved for auto financing as low as 3.99% APR. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Rates subject to credit approval and valid on purchase of 2020 or newer vehicles. Learn more at imcu.com.
Hi folks, it's Ben Stallings with Beck Service Center. Automotive breakdowns and routine maintenance never come at a good time. Let us help take the stress out of your automotive repairs. With 10 mechanics and 32 bays, we can get you back up and running with minimal downtime. Quality parts, experienced mechanics, locally owned and operated since 1977. Located at the southeast corner of Madison and Edgewood, we are pretty darn good at fixing cars. Let's go Royals.
Back at La Pinta Field, through 4.5 innings of play, all Royals, they lead it 8-1 over the Brebeuf Jesuit Braves, and we will this time have a new pitcher. Owen Moracle, who was warming up in the Braves bullpen during that 4th inning, now set to take the mound. For Moracle, 2 appearances, and obviously this is wildly inflated because of the 2 appearances and lack of times that are in there, but a 31.5 ERA for Moracle.
Not what you want to see, but you're absolutely right. When you only been in there for 2/3 of an inning.
Again, that's mainly just for the shock value that it is to mean anything about what Moracle brings to the table. Pitch. It's like if you're a casual baseball fan of your team and you look in, there's a relief pitcher and it says, "Oh, he's got a 14 ERA." What is? Well, it's he's only appearing in situational opportunities.
He only gets in for 2 hitters at a time.
Pitch swung on and foul tipped by Dylan Henry. Count 1-1. First pitch was a ball.
All right, we're gonna see if we can get some pitching statistics on the old digital app.
You're taking us into new heights.
I'm trying.
This is also, we'll get to this point in a second, as Moracle deals, and that's hit towards third base and through for a base hit for Dylan Henry. He reaches with a leadoff single, and the Royals are in business once again here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as Drew Nelson gets set to step into the box. This is just a weird... It's a weird changing of rules. Again, look, you might not be aware of this, but some of our audiences that know me, my late father was in his 80s and couldn't figure out certain aspects of tech. So when I look at you, I don't see an old man by any means. I'm sure you feel great in that regard, but definitely older than me. So the fact that I'm the one that's bringing out the archaic pen to paper, and you're the one bringing us into the digital age is a tip of the cap to you.
And you know what? Let's not go too far. I absolutely have the paper in my backpack ready to go.
Well, that's called being a prepared broadcaster, having it on backup just in case. It's a wild pitch. It's going to allow Henry to advance. To second, so in scoring position. An opportunity for an RBI here for Nelson. If he can put it in play. Pitch, fouled back behind home plate. Count 1-1.
Down in the left field bullpen, we got some action once again. Number 12, Luke Green. down there warming up.
You would again assume that Prendergast night is done, but we assumed once, and
you know what they say about assuming things.
Indeed. Make a fool of everybody involved is a clean way to have that.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know where you're going.
Lead off second with a 2-1 count. Royals lead 8-1, and that's just off.
That was a breaking ball that didn't quite break enough. It was tight. It was quick. Takes a little bit off of that. It probably sweeps back over into the strike zone.
3-1 is hit towards the shortstop and bobbled behind him. Royals will stay put. Runners on the corners.
And that's one where, I mean, you have to at least entertain the idea of an error there, but it was hit directly at the base umpire. So the base umpire shielding the shortstop from actually seeing the ball come at him, and then he gets that one quick hop, and it's tough to award an error right there.
Royals lead at 8-1, and in theory, with clarification from our staff up here, run rule starts to come into play after 5.
Correct.
So
three runs here would do it.
If you have your, I know I'm asking a lot here, but if you suddenly have your first home run of the season, this time by Vinny Shives, Royals are headed home with a W. Might have a more conventional route, though, to those runs. That's fouled back behind home plate. Count 0-1. Taking off was Nelson. He'll head back to first. Be a heck of a way to end our first broadcast, though.
That would. A little walk-off 10-run rule.
No, I'm sure this was barred, and I understand that you and I haven't gotten into our baseball fanhood conversation, but during my era of time as the PA announcer, I had the benefit, for me anyway, as a Yankees fan, we'll hold here for just a second with that dramatic phrase. 0-1 is fouled back by Shives, home plate, so count 0-2, but at the time, Coach Keith Hatfield was a massive Yankees fan as well, so I get away with playing the Sinatra and game winner for the Royals. I doubt that practice has continued given the large contingent of Cubs, Reds, Cardinals, White Sox fans
now
in the state.
Yeah, well, Rob Brown is very unapologetically
massive
a Reds fan.
Yep.
So I'm sure every once in a while you may have seen some things slip in a little bit.
I'm sure,
there, but
I'm sure.
Not nearly as many Yankee fans out here these days.
Throw over to first, not in time.
Especially when you see that now it is my Chicago Cubs that have had a World Series championship in the most recent past.
Of any of the
market
three
teams,
throw the Yankees in there as well. Yep.
But I will say, if and I am not a Yankees fan, but I am so happy that my guy Anthony Rizzo is getting to play in a place that
hits him on the pitch.
Getting to play in a place where he's respected.
So I understand this is frowned upon because I said it to a buddy of mine and he was perplexed by it. So I don't really have like a National League team, but I've always had a bunch of family members that are Cubs fans. So if you ask me who's a national team I always root for or always got behind the lovable losers train, it was the Cubs. So, pulling for them entirely during that 2016 run, and Anthony Rizzo was my favorite player on that team. So, yeah, to have him in New York, I understand that Cubs fans are very envious of that fact.
Oh, yeah.
He was effectively their Derek Jeter in terms of like that iconic piece of that team. No disrespect to Kyle Schwarber and Chris Bryant and company, but I know it's painful to see him in pinstripes, but Yankee fans are very happy to have him as that's fouled back on the screen, first base side out of play.
And it's kind of a crazy thing for me because I've never been a first baseman. But, man, my favorite Cubs of all time have been like Anthony Rizzo, Mark Grace, Leon Durham, all first basemen, outside. Ryan Sandberg was my idol growing up. But yeah, it's just kind of an odd little quirk. But I just, a guy like Rizzo, I'm not going to wear batting gloves. I'm going to choke up on 2 strikes, and just do all those little things right. I just loved him for all those little things.
Pitch, the base is loaded, and that is going to be potentially trouble down the left field line. It's foul. Florida was potentially out of the park. Florida with a potential game-ending RBI, and that landed in play. It would have been a tough tough play for Sobek.
He turned on it. He just turned on it just a little bit too much. And it winds up as a loud strike.
So Shives off first. Bases loaded for the Royals. Runners ready to go on the 1-2, and that is hammered into left field. Back at the track at the wall. She is gone. A walk-off
grand
mercy
slam.
rule
Wow.
grand slam for the Roncalli Royals. What a strike from Parker Doherty to send the home crowd home happy and early. 12-1 your final as Roncalli knocks off the Brebeuf Jesuit Braves and improved to 4-0 on the year. My goodness, a no-doubter out of the Parker.
And I think you will. You'll probably accept responsibility for that, right? Talking about how to end the game.
I didn't have the at-bat right because we were talking about it with Shives, but you'll be very, very happy with that ending. A no-doubter home run for Roncalli to end a high-volume, delightful evening at La Pinta Field. We'll take our first and only break of the postgame show. Or into the postgame show, I beg your pardon. The Indy Teledata postgame show, that is. After this, again, Roncalli victorious tonight by a final of 12-1. Back to put a bow on everything after this on the Roncalli Media Network.
Service printing and brand communications service. Harding Porman is a full-service printing and brand communications company. From creative services and strategy to print, signage, digital output, warehousing and fulfillment, mailing, e-commerce storefronts, and even mobile solutions. They are dedicating to helping their clients get the most out of their brand communication efforts with the quality they can see and results they can be sure of. Get the most out of your brand communications. Certified to be the best, Harding Porman.
Marian University wants to know, what are you made of? At Marian University, our students are made of character and faith. Our students are service-minded and want to make a difference in the world. Our students possess the skills and intellect required of leaders. Come to Marian University, Indy's premier Catholic university, and let us help you find out what you're made of. You can apply for free today at marian.edu.
Welcome back to La Pinta Field. A victorious La Pinta Field. Roncalli victorious tonight, 12-1 the final, thanks to a walk-off mercy rule ending home run from Parker Doherty. Not just a home run, a grand slam variety by Parker Doherty. So exciting and just such a captivating game to a point that we talked about our little Yankees, Reds, Cubs conversation there. If one Rob Brown is listening, didn't get to drop any John Sterling in there tonight. So we'll revisit that when we have an opportunity to do so. But first, as we have the opportunity to, across the board tonight, joined by Royals head coach Pat Antone. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time with us this evening. Number of places we could start, but let's start first with J.J. Prendergast. As an opportunity to navigate through some drama in the first couple of innings, had the bases loaded twice, but he's able to not only power through that, finish the evening with 11 strikeouts to his name. I got to be happy with his pitching performance from start to finish.
He did an outstanding job. And I know it wasn't easy for him because we gave up some freebies on defense in the infield, and that put us in some bad spots, but we need to be in positions like that during the regular season because it's a question of when that's going to happen later on in the postseason, not if, and we need to be ready to handle those types of moments, and he did a very good job with that, staying composed, competing one pitch at a time, and getting big punch-outs when we needed to. So, yeah, JJ was outstanding on the mound today.
Coach Roncalli had obviously mentioned that to us a little bit as the outing was unfolding for Pendergrass, that as you continue to get through the season, you have opportunities like the Marion County tournament, like sectionals, you want to be able to have members of your staff have those drama-filled situations and be readily prepared for when the door comes to knock and when hardware is on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is these guys can all play, and they can play well, but you got to be able to play well under pressure. So we have to make practice as competitive as possible. We put pressure on them, but then we also got to be in pressure-filled moments in the game. So like when we have situations like that, it's really good for us and each of our guys, and it's good to see them like step up and do well in those spots, because at the end of the day, like the biggest pitches, biggest moments are going to be like that, even more pressure-filled. So we got to be ready for it.
One of the things that we talked about was kind of a key to the game. If you look at the stats from Brebeuf so far this season, haven't had a lot of success, but Will Loftus has. Will Loftus has been their leader in most of their offensive categories, but you guys were really able to shut him down tonight. He went 0 for 3 with a strikeout and had instances where he had people on base. Was there anything in particular that you guys were doing coming into the game to try and limit him tonight?
I mean, nothing too crazy or spectacular, but just we were really trying to be able to throw the fastball on the inside part of the plate for a strike, and then maybe work him soft away. But JJ's pitches were on today, and he was able to get inside and make guys uncomfortable, and then get them like soft away. So I mean, that's pretty much what we did there.
Coach, with your first season at the helm here of the Royals, and you look at the uniqueness of the Circle City Conference schedule, get the win against Brebeuf tonight, but then tomorrow night you're right up to their place with a little back-to-back action. How does that, if anything, change the balance of both the emotions but the playing environment, knowing that took care of business tonight, but in order to keep pace with where you want to be in conference, you got to take care of business up at their place tomorrow night?
Yeah, so we need to enjoy this win tonight, because they did a great job. Everything they were supposed to do, they competed, they executed. Enjoy it tonight, but then come back tomorrow ready to compete. Biggest game of the year is tomorrow, not because it's Brebeuf, not because it's conference, because that's the game we have right now. So that's the mentality we've been trying to instill and create, and it's hard because there's a lot of games back to back, but like we need to mentally be able to treat every game like it's the biggest game of the season, and if we can have that mentality and approach, we're going to be able to have bounce back stuff like this. We get a big win tonight, we got to be ready to play tomorrow. In semi-state, 2 games in a day, you got to enjoy that first win. Later in the day, you got to be ready for 2. So I mean, it's enjoy it tonight, but biggest game of the year is tomorrow.
Coach, last question for you, at least on my end, and obviously if you have one, feel free to go too. But when you look at the combination of how runs were scored tonight, obviously Doherty has what's effectively a walk-off grand slam to run rule them, but some of the runs are manufactured because of some errors made by Brebeuf. How do you go back when you look at the tape? How do you gauge the offensive performance tonight and look at where your club still needs to build?
Yeah, it all comes down, like we have our offensive game goals, big inning, 3 or more runs at least one time, answer back, so they score, we got to come back and at least get 1, score first, extend the lead when we have it, and then score with 2 outs. Our goal is to get at least 3 of those 5. So we got all 5 of those tonight. Yeah. And if you do that, you're very rarely will you ever lose. And the other part is just quality of bats. So our guys having good approaches at the plate, are they executing those approaches, getting good pitches to swing at, and then are they swinging at those? And then are they laying off balls that are outside the zone, or even if they're strikes, but they're not in the zone they were looking for with their approach, are they laying off of those? Sure. And, so having stuff like synergy, like, and being able to look back at our game on video and then look back at, like, the statistics from everybody, like, for every single pitch, that's really big. So, yeah, so it's offensive game goals, quality of bats, and just being aggressive. And the other part is base running. So, yeah.
Last thing from me, there was a situation early in the game where there was a ball hit down to first, and it sure looked from our vantage point like it was a fair ball, and then it was called foul, and then it was an out, and then it wasn't. Could you maybe walk us through what was the conversation there?
So it was a fair ball, but when the ball was put in play and it hit the ground, the first base umpire ruled it foul. So once that happens, the play is dead. So, and it can't reverse the call. So he knew that, and he apologized for it. So it happens, but luckily it wasn't too big of a moment where it shifted anything for us. But So the play was just, once he had called the foul, it was just dead. So
yeah. I was telling Jimmy that, you know what, it's early season for all the players, it's early season for the coaches, it's early season for the umpires too. Sometimes those things are going to happen.
Yeah, no, we appreciate all the umpires, like at all levels, coming out and doing our games because, we wouldn't be able to play without them. So appreciate it.
Well, congrats, Coach. You went 1-0 tonight. Go get that 1-0 tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for working again.
No problem. That's Coach Pat Anton, nice enough to take some time with us. Royals victorious this evening by a final score of 12-1. This is our first and only segment of the postgame show, so we'll wrap with this. I find it interesting with Coach mentions you need to take each of those at bats, and like you mentioned, have certain goals of either your pitch location assignments or what you're tracking for that at bat. Never getting too high and low in that regard. And even though we joked about the errors that led to offensive runs scored, when you get a no-doubter, I know we joked about it to kind of prophesize it, but a no-doubter, your first home run for the entire team, and Parker Doherty able to get it done coming in fact, as a sub off the bench tonight. Great feeling for this group, but that's what you like to hear out of your first-year head coach.
Yeah.
Never too high, never too low.
Yeah.
We're back to try to 1-0 mentality tomorrow.
You know, baseball's a funny game. You can go out, go to the plate 10 times, fail 7 out of them, and you're in the Hall of Fame. So it's a funny game that, you know what, from one moment to the next, you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay ready when it's your time. And sometimes those opportunities may not come every day. They may come once a week. They may come once a month. You just don't know. So you got to be ready when the opportunities present themselves. And so far, what we've seen from the Royals is that we got plenty of guys up and down the lineup that are able to take advantage of those moments when they're there.
Well, up next on the Roncalli Media Network, we'll have a broadcast for you on Thursday night, I beg your pardon, as the Royals on the softball side of the campus of Roncalli High School host Tri-West. That's a 6 o'clock start time for you. That'll be our next broadcast for you on the Roncalli Media Network. We look forward to having a nice sprinkling in of some baseball, some softball. We'll have some lacrosse in there as well. And then, of course, some boys volleyball mixed in there for an exciting spring season. Coach, happy to have you along for this one. Look forward to hopefully having you along for potentially a couple more as the season unfolds.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure.
Looking forward to it. Yep.
Glad you got the digital scorecard
we'll see
under your belt.
We'll see if we can keep that going.
Well, our final in this one, Roncalli victorious 12-1. The executive directors of the Roncalli Media Network, Therese Carson and Aaron Hummel. The video director of the Roncalli Media Network, AJ Ablong, and his student crew doing a wonderful job for us throughout tonight, giving you some beautiful visual angles on the diamond here at La Pinta Field. And for my broadcast partner tonight, the talented Chris Strykowski, I'm Jimmy Cook. Again, our final in this one, the Royals improved to 4-0 on effectively a walk-off mercy rule grand slam by Parker Doherty. And until we talk to you on Thursday night on the softball diamonds, this is Jimmy Cook saying so long, everybody.